everyone. Welcome to another episode of iThrive's Geeky podcast. I am Chandra researcher at the R&D department of iThrive. Today, we have Krishna Mehta with us. Hi, Krishna.
Hi, Chandra.
He is a researcher at the R&D department of iThrive as well. So, in the previous episode, we discussed about vitamin D and its correlation with depression. So there were many researches which proved that decrease in the level of vitamin D there is a potential link between vitamin D and depression. So if you have not watched that video, the link will be given in the description. Please go and check it out. In today's episode, we'll discuss about are there any benefits of fasting? So I and Krishna are going to discuss about that. So my first question to you, Krishna. So how do you stumble on this topic? Like, what came into your mind that you wanted to do a thorough study on it?
So yeah, basically what I was doing was I was doing some research on that. What would be any practice that would be beneficial for us to maybe lose weight or maybe to increase our longevity as well. So I was just reading through some papers or maybe just scrolling through the net, and I stumbled upon this paper that actually told us or illustrated the role of fasting. So maybe I thought, chalo, let's start digging deep inside it and try to discover it. So yeah, that's how I stumbled upon this topic.
So coming to the topic now, that can you explain how fasting actually works and what actually happens when you fast?
Yeah, so basically what happens is that our body requires energy store, like energy, right? And this energy is provided in the form of glucose. So when we fast for more than 10 to 12 hours, basically, like take example, like if you had your last meal of the day at 9 p.m. yesterday, and once you get up in the morning the next day, maybe at around 7, but you still don't consume something, maybe till 9,
right,
that will be like 12 hours. Okay, so your body is kind of not having that ready available source of energy. So what it is going to do is that body is going to enter into fasted state, and then it is going to use what is known as energy reserves. These are going to be used or utilized for the chemical process that is known as gluconeogenesis. That is like production of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. That will be your muscles,
right,
your fatty acids, or even maybe lactic acid as well. So yeah, so these are utilized in our body to produce energy to keep our system moving on smoothly without any breaks, so that we can carry on our day-to-day activity like effortlessly.
So many people claim that fasting can help them lose weight, and that's why even youngsters do it currently. So do you think there is any truth to this claim?
Yes, there is truth about this. Like what happens is that when we don't consume energy, like I mentioned earlier, like just few minutes back, so our body will enter into like tapping into those energy reserves which we have, that is the fat. And if a person is overweight or obese, maybe that energy reserve, like they will be carrying a high percentage of fat in their system. So this will be broken down to produce energy. Okay, so like the glucose, like our brain after glucose utilizes ketone bonds. So it will like this fat will be broken down and it will be converted into ketones, and that will be utilized to give energy to our brain, because our brain is the most metabolically active organ after our muscles. So it requires energy every time, like to think, like you just imagine, like we just cannot sit idly without thinking anything. So it does require energy. So the fasting, what will do is that it will use up this energy. Now if you are someone, like if you are fasting for a period of time, and then once you are going to consume the double the amount of energy which you like were deprived of in that particular period. For example, let's take, if you consume food like just for 8 hours on a 24 hours, then maybe 16 hours you're fasting. So the window which you are presenting, the 8 hours, if you are going to consume the double the amount of calories or maybe the food which you used to have earlier, there won't be any effect, right?
Right.
So if then the body needs to go in calorie deficit, so it requires some less energy so that you will lose weight. So that's how fasting can actually help us.
So I remember, like while doing the intermittent fasting video, I mentioned that when the body is in the fasting condition, we search for our body searches for non-carbohydrate source of non-hexose source of energy currency, and which are the ketone bodies or the fat bodies, and those are utilized for our daily work, which is utilized for our everyday work. So, yeah, coming to my next question. So, is there any dangers to fasting? I mean, there might be some.
Yeah, I would say they are not the pretty like threatening dangers, maybe, but there are some dangers like people who are underweight. Like these people, who they require energy for the system to actually gain weight, right? So most of the time, fasting when a person does fasting, there is this observation that these people they kind of naturally lose weight. So, if an underweight individual starts or indulges into fasting, there will be like the energy, like their body weight will be drastically coming down to a lower level, and it might pose a threat to their living being as well, like for them as well. Similarly, women who are pregnant and breastfeeding, they should avoid fasting because pregnant women they are actually like giving birth, or maybe the development of child is taking place in the fetus, right? And nutrition is the pretty much important thing which is required for the proper development of the fetus and the child. So if the mother is fasting, how she is going to provide nutrient to the child as well. And it has also shown in studies that if the mother is like kind of nutrient deficient, then the fetus is going to derive energy from mother's organs as well. So again, it's going to pose a threat to mother as well. So
Right.
these are individuals who are chronically ill. Like fasting does pose like put a lot of stress in your body. Like some individuals already like experience that stress, and those individuals who are chronically ill, their body is already like at an elevated level of stress. So if you're going to add more stress to that body, then they might just break it down. So these individuals kind of need to avoid fasting.
You actually answered my next question, which I was about to ask. That is there any age category or there specific condition that those people should do fasting and
Okay.
that. So, do you want to mention any other group categories of people who should be mindful of when they should be fasting?
Even I would like to mention children, like
Yeah,
below the age of, maybe I would categorize them like below 15, or maybe before teenage age as well.
during
Because
the adolescence period.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they are in their developing stage, right? And if you are going to avoid nutrients or avoid your body of nutrients, so again it's going to be like difficult in achieving your growth milestones, like which is mentioned like the height and weight for that age. If you don't achieve it, then it's kind of pretty much going to cause stress, depression to them as well, and to the body as well. Like there will be stress, like you won't be able to perform, or maybe like perform other in their peer pressure, like the peers which are there. You will think that okay, I'm not able to perform any task like some of my friends. That could be due to the nutritional insult which you could
Yeah.
have done due to fasting. So children need to avoid it, and pregnant women and chronically ill.
So you talked about stress here, right? So do you think fasting also have any effect on our mental health?
Yes, it does has like studies which have been conducted on mice. They have actually shown that fasting helps in brain function as well.
Yeah.
Like it helps to like reduce this risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Like the studies were conducted on mice as well. So even they help to like produce more of neurotransmitter norepinephrine. So again, which is going to help in proper neural growth, like new nerve firing as well. So the studies are as of now conducted on mice, but still most studies need to be conducted on humans as well. So
Yeah.
like those people, like some people whom we tell to do fasting as well, like they have experience or they have seen, like even I have seen some benefits of fasting, on mental. It helps to improve the focus and all. So maybe more studies need to be carried out in future to validate this.
So there is a thing about me, when I fast or when I don't eat food for a long period of time, I become very cranky. I mean, my mood just gets here and there. So coming back again to the topic, there are different types of fasting, right? Like the intermittent fasting, which is like there are episodes of eating and not eating periods. And there is this juice fasting, water fasting. So what according to you is an ideal fasting pattern, or you'll be saying that it can be beneficial, more beneficial to the people?
Like it depends from person to person, but what I have read about or what studies have shown is that intermittent fasting could be better, and for some individual water fasting could be better. Like their body is capable to handle, like do fasting for maybe more than 24 hours. Some people even go to 72 hours as well.
Okay.
Like they can sustain it, like others can't. Like take example of me, I can't just like go for 72 hours for fasting. Maybe for me it will be like 18, 16 hours. It's suitable for me. So it depends from person to person, like each one needs to, like under professional guidance, maybe try out and see what works for their body as well.
Yeah.
And similarly, like you mentioned, like when you don't consume food or you are in a fasted state, you become cranky, right?
Yeah.
So even I kind of feel the opposite of it. Like
Okay.
during my exams and all, I usually used to consume less food, and it actually helped me to focus more.
It's opposite with me. Like
Yeah.
if I don't eat, then I won't be
Similarly,
able to
what I was
concentrate.
telling, like
Yeah.
most studies need to be carried
Yeah.
out. Just we cannot draw a conclusion just from one individual, right?
Right.
We need to set up studies or through scientific process. We need to validate this
Yeah.
information.
Yes. So even here it comes like when you do intermittent fasting, there will be a specific group of people, and if you have any underlying conditions, then you should avoid it, or you should consult your nutritionist, right?
Yeah.
So okay, how long should a person fast to see any kind of benefits, if you
Yes.
have anything?
Again, it comes down to the same, like it depends from person to person.
Yeah.
Like some individuals, like if they do fasting for 8 to 10 hours or maybe 18 to maybe 16 to 18 hours,
Yeah.
they for a week or two they have seen results. Maybe some individual can stretch it to 24 or maybe 72 hours, again they can see that results. So again, it depends from person to person what their body is like each individual is different, right?
Yeah.
So it will be like individual based. So again, the customization which we talk about in our approach as well, the functional nutrition, similarly maybe fasting needs to be kind of taken into that approach, customization, what suits their body.
Yeah.
Like if a person who is underweight and if he even does a fasting for maybe 3 to 4 hours, that will be a drastic weight loss. Like even I have seen these individuals, like 1 kg of weight will be reduced in this individual. While those individuals who are not that underweight, maybe they are obese or maybe like overweight, for them the results, like to show, it will take some time. But again, person to person it will just vary.
Yeah. So this is basically a disclaimer to our audience that if you are trying out any new diet pattern or a fasting pattern, you should always go to the healthcare professional for to study your body, and then they will customize the meal according to your body. Right, coming to the end, so did you find any research currently which is going on the benefits of fasting? Like what's new in the market right now?
So yeah, I was just reading about this and actually came across that fasting has a role like in cancer treatment. Like cancer cells, they are actually like those cells which have lost the property to actually like modulate their growth. Like a normal cell would just divide at a specific period of time. Like there will be a cell cycle,
Yeah.
which we have
Yeah,
studied, right?
yeah.
So it has just bypassed that cell cycle and just continues to multiply and multiply
Abnormal growth.
abnormally. So for that, what they require is glucose. Like glucose is the primary source of energy. So if you are going to do fast, then actually it's going to abstain it, or maybe it like going to help to die off that cell, or maybe kill that cell as well, right? So this is an ongoing study and researches are coming up. So we'll have to wait and watch
Yeah.
what's the final conclusion about it. So that's what I found interesting while studying about fasting.
I'm sure that the audience might have found this very informative. If you have any questions, please mention it in the comment section and we'll get back to you. We'll come back again with something new, some new topic. Maybe you might have suggested it to us. Till then, keep watching and take care. Bye bye.